But in fact, we realize that you have white power, green power, yellow power, black power, etc. Because you have these guns and billy clubs ready to determine people's lives and destinies. It's come forth with the white community recently here, the university community, and you've been shown this power structure with this police force, what you are. Not only have you beat and brutalized with your historical counterparts, the black community, subjected it to gross oppression, but you come forward to show what you are when you whoop your own white people's heads and crack their skulls.
Say something to these people so I can move back, please. All you brothers, I want you to move back. Move on back, all the way on the grass. Court trial's over, move back. Court scene's over, move back.
Nothing will hold up in court. These are phony charges. You cannot barge into a man's home under the pretense that there's been a disturbance in the neighborhood and you're seeking inquiry and barge into a man's home, break into his home, and with guns drawn, tie everybody up, put them Any comments about it? What you want to talk about?
Was a blue ribbon grand jury, and it did not represent a cross-section of the community. That was the first wrong that was done. Well, that was one of the wrongs, maybe not the first. And then we have the petty jury that still does not represent the cross-section of Alameda County. So I feel that I'm not getting justice under the Constitution, and it's not fair politically and socially. The whole
TV News.
Surprised that they brought him in today.
Just 5 at a time?
Just 5.
That's all right. You said they were not one back.
my attorney asked me to take the stand, and it was pertaining to show evidence that I was absolutely without funds, so that I couldn't afford to pay for witnesses to come from another state.
Do you have any idea at this point in the trial how soon the selection of a jury might begin?
The judge asked that question last week, and both Mr. Jensen and I predicted it may take a week or 10 days.
Mr. Newton, you said that you didn't feel that you could get a fair trial here in Oakland, but you also said you were confident you would be acquitted. How do you equate the two?
Well, actually, it's not a dichotomy, because I stated that under the present court structure that I will not be able to receive it.
Supporters that you can't get a fair trial in Oakland.
It's impossible for me to get a fair trial under the present structure of the court and the rules of the court. It's a white racist structured institution, but we're very sure that we'll be able to revolutionize the court system along with the support of the community, and with the very fine legal counsel that I have. We're sure that we'll be victorious.
Mr. Newton, earlier today you made a statement to the effect that you had been framed. Would you elaborate on that?
Not at this time.
You have nothing else to say about it?
No, only that I'm innocent.
Did you say that you were framed?
I believe I did.
Do you believe you know who was responsible for the policeman's death?
I can't answer that at this time.
How have you been treated in jail?
Harassment. I've been brutalized and treated in a different way than other inmates.
Was there punishment for anything specific, or just...
I've been in solitary confinement for the last 35 days.
Was that a punishment for something?
Well, at this time it's not punishment for anything that's been stated to me. I was put on restriction for 15 days without being fed. I was fed a half a cup of green substance that I couldn't eat for 15 days. After this period, I was put off restriction. I was able to visit my relatives and friends, but I'm still in a solitary confinement cell. And the cell is about 6.5 by 4.5. I stay in there 24 hours a day without exercise whatsoever. It's a solid door similar to the door behind you, only it doesn't have any opening in it whatsoever, and there are no windows in this particular cell.
Do you had regular communication, mail, in addition to visitors?
I don't receive all of my mail. The visitors are harassed by the police, and verbal abuses are constantly inflicted upon them.
You took the witness stand this morning for what purpose?
Panther Party is based in part on the belief that blacks should control their own destiny.
That's true.
Black attorneys have offered to defend you. How did it happen that your counsel in court are all white?
The Black Panther Party, well, first you're wrong that all of the counsel are not white. It's Mr. Gary's office is an integrated office, and we have other blacks aiding in the case. I started to say that the Black Panther Party is not a racist organization. We respect the dignity in all men. We believe that we should be able to control the institutions within our community, and also the destiny of our black people who are colonized here in racist America.
Since your arrest for the alleged murder of John Fry, the Oakland policeman, do you feel that there has been any change in philosophy in the Black Panther Party per se?
No, the Black Panther Party philosophy has not changed since its original existence, and that was October 1966.
How do you think the outcome of your trial will affect the future of the party?
I believe that the outcome of the trial will not only affect the future of the Black Panther Party in a positive manner, but will also affect black people throughout America in a positive manner, because I'm sure that we will be victorious.
You think that you will be acquitted?
Yes.
Mr. Gary, that you will be able to get a jury, since you brought up this concept of authoritarian personality.
When an eminent psychiatrists like Dr. Bernard Diamond, who's now teaching criminology and is professor of law at the University of California, when he states that he has no way at this time to be able to weed out a person who has built-in white racist prejudices, if he can't do it with some 25 years of outstanding psychiatry work, I don't know how a lawyer that's only gone to night law school can be able to weed out and pierce that veil of prejudice and weed out the person who is supposed to be non-prejudicial, when all of the psychiatrists and the sociologists who testified, including Dr. Diamond, who said every one of us, including himself, had built-in prejudices. When we have that kind of a society to draw from, I do not know how we're going to be able to pick a jury that's going to be free from this built-in prejudice, this prejudgment, so to speak.
Is it possible, Mr. Gary, that this extensive exposure to the press, TV, and radio of your client, Mr. Newton, today will result later in perhaps tactically the old trial by media?
The way it is, I'm getting letters of all kinds, hate letters. I got a letter today. Of course, all of these hate letters are unsigned. They're threatening. I got one today that said, how could I defend a person who's done this and who's done that? Where she got this information that he had done all of these things, I don't know. But the prejudice is such that they bypass evidence and logic. That's what the authoritarian personality shows, that you don't need prejudice. I mean, you don't need evidence to show guilt. They will bypass that. For instance, one of the tests that are usually given in a group of, I wish some wise person could answer that question.
The empirical evidence will show whether we're able to change the structure or not. At this time, I don't know whether we'll be able to or not, but it's just my belief. I have confidence that we will be able to make some changes.
Yeah. Very good.
The police saw that we had support, and they demanded that I came out, and I demanded that that we talk the thing over. Finally, the police got about 8 of them together with mace and clubs, opened up the door and stormed into the tank. And at this time, I told the 2 Panthers who were in with me, Percy had already been taken out, to not to resist, to just cooperate, because they wanted a chance to beat our heads in anyway. So I was taken out and put into the isolation cell, or the hole as it's called, where I was denied my legal transcripts. I'm on a starvation diet where I receive half a cup of some green substance 3 times a day. The room that I was in the first place had no lighting at all, and no toilet, no wash basin, and you're nude, and there's no bed, so you sleep on the floor.
And what we believe, you will see that the Black Panther Party is not a racist organization, but it is an organization that wants to uplift the consciousness of black people. I don't trust the white press. We should give them a copy. Each of the reporters has a copy in this packet. There's a press release. Because you know what they're going to say tomorrow. You know what they're going to say tomorrow, that a group of niggas met, and first they're going to burn down the Merritt College or whatever, and they're going to burn down all the college and the elementary schools throughout America. And this is what we're going to read in the press tomorrow.
The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense is organized now throughout the nation. We are recognized internationally, and we advocate that all black people in America are taught what politics is all about and what our history is all about, so that we can have self-identity and we can know where our strength is, we will know our enemies, and we'll know our friends. This is a black curriculum.
We're offering courses now. I just have the African civilization is another three-quarter sequence. We have a course called Americana, which is designed for this similar. We have specifically tailored American history courses that accent the role of the Negro and his contributions made in this country.
I plan to go on with our expansion, and also to make even a stronger tie with the struggling people of the world, because they represent 2/3 of the people. The colonized world, or the developing countries, are also the colored world. And American imperialism is implicated in all of those puppet governments that control these developing countries. In other words, if America withdraws its support from Greece, that Greek regime will fall. If America withdraws its support from the puppet government of South Vietnam, the Vietnamese war would end. So what I'm saying is we have to hook up internationally. You can only understand the situation internationally. And in order to do this, that we are going to commit troops. We're going to commit troops to the Vietnamese people, the National Liberation Front, to fight the cowardly American aggressor.
Who's
and the Black Panther Party.
Panthers.
That's right.
Now, when are you going to do that? Is that
I'm going to do this as soon as I'm released. That I'm going to make this known at the Paris peace talks, so that it can be accepted or rejected by the Vietnamese people. But in the spirit of internationalism and the spirit of international solidarity, we plan to do this, and we would do this for any people who are fighting against American imperialism.
You want to get together blacks to go to Vietnam and fight against America?
Here, our party is composed of blacks, simply because of the reality, the cultural reality in the country. I think that if things don't change drastically, it will be bloodshed.
What are the Panthers going to? What part are the Panthers going to have in that?
Well, the Black Panther Party is a force for justice in the name of peace, and we realize that we're shedding blood now. We're being killed. That either by the vicious service revolver of the occupying army, which is the police, who's directed by the avaricious businessman and lying politician, or we're being killed through the lack of medical care, the lack of funds because of unemployment. We're being killed because of lack of nutrition. So violence can take many forms. I call that violence when our kids are born and they're born with organic brain damages because of the malnutrition of the mother, you see, for economic reasons. The country is much too rich for that kind of thing. The country is too rich. The country is supposed to be too civilized. We've analyzed this society, and we've come up with the best solution of any organization or party. And I think that it's clear that in order for the people to be free in this country, the oppressed people in general, and black people in particular, we would have to have a socialist society, a proportional representation, and a socialist framework. What I mean by this, the civil rights movement is dead. That white people in 1776 broke away from England, and they broke away because of taxation without representation. and also it was a war of decolonialization. And what they instituted was democratic capitalism. I think capitalism at that time was progressive. The Civil Rights Movement is no more than a continuation of the American Revolution that took place in 1776. But this time the blacks were trying to get those same rights, that the whites got then. But the only difficulty you have there is that the same conditions no longer exist because the dialectics have changed. You no longer have democratic capitalism, you have monopolistic capitalism. A good analogy would be, it's like old wine. You see, the longer it sits, the stronger it gets. And the party is becoming a greater influence. It's transformed itself from a national party to an international party with headquarters in about 6 or 7 branches in about 6 or 7 countries. That we're in practically every state in the Union, and we're very influential.
Has your philosophy, your outlook on life changed at all?
No, as I said, I've become stronger. When I used to go to church as a child, the preacher used to say, suffering is good for the soul. And I never understood that. But now I think I understand it. Whether I'm there or not, the fight will go on. One man never makes a revolution, nor one weapon never defeats a revolution. The people always win wars, and people write world history, make world history, that is, and they transform the planet Earth. We're being murdered over and over again, and the murders of the party members and of blacks in general supersedes that of the New Left. But the murders of the New Left is escalating because, as I said, a line of demarcation is being drawn. I think that this fight will sharpen as time goes, not only on a national level but on an international level. I don't believe this country will be able, in spite of its great power, I don't believe it will be able to fight every country in the world and also fight a revolutionary war at home. That's what we're really banking on.
You say the Panthers will mount an offensive in Vietnam.
We will commit an undisclosed number of troops to the National Liberation Front.
Well, specifically, how do you go about that?
Well, when I get out, I'll probably make an executive mandate and or proclamation, have it delivered to the Paris peace talks, introduced there, and also a copy sent to the provisional government of South Vietnam, National Liberation Front, and just simply offer the troops in the name in the spirit of solidarity, and then it'll be up to the people of the country, the National Liberation Front, to accept or reject. We realize we have problems here, domestic problems, and we're fighting a revolution in this country. But we must always hook up and have solidarity with people of the world. We realize also that America, the American aggressor, is having all sort of problems home, but still he's messing with other people's business abroad. If he can do it, then we can do it also. I don't think they're really anxious to try me. I think that the people won't stand the waste of money. They won't stand the circus as went on in Connecticut or went on here the last time, because it's obvious that the charge is just fabrications by the state. So we're sure that we'll be able to get things straightened out.